What's up, YouTube? Show you guys what I did today here at the boss's house. This morning when I might have a video of it. It might be in this if I can figure out how to edit it in, but this thing was smoking and running horrible. And they had took it to a local shop. I guess that guy told them that it was the injector pump. And I asked him, and he said he was confident enough that it was the injector pump to have me change it. So I had about 6 or 8 years ago, I changed an engine in that truck, and the one that came from the salvage yard was a complete engine. So I just went ahead, and it had a reman injector pump on it. Here's what came off. Imagine it was a stock one, but what I was going to show you guys on this one, somebody must have got a little overzealous at some point, and I don't know if this could have happened when they had put it together, or if somebody broke it and then put it together like this to be kind of hide it from their customer. But it was it was on that engine when we got it. Another thing that happened today on my harmonic balancer puller, this head of this nut just pulled off, and I've never in my life seen anything like that. I thought that nuts were solidly cast. I guess I never even knew that that was a separate part, or I mean that bolts were solidly cast, not nuts. I'm sorry. Now that looks like the piece that holds down a toilet flange. Anyways, so I'm here at the boss's house. He has some cool stuff. This is a 29 Chevrolet. It started out life as a car, but somebody cut it and made it into a pickup back here. And then there's an old GMC sitting in here. And then I'll see if I can climb up here and shine the light down on, or shine it down on. There's a couple of old Fords back there. Anyways, while I'm here, I'll walk over real quick. JC was curious what engine was in that Peterbilt the last time I was here, so I want to see what it is. And then if the camera runs long enough, I'll do a little walk around and show you guys some more of the cool toys that Eddie has. Eddie has a lot of cool toys, kind of like my buddy Donnie, but Eddie doesn't restore anything. He bought all this stuff back many years ago, and it just still remains here. He doesn't sell anything. He'd sell you something if he knew you and liked you. Let me see if I can set this down and this semi-hood lifted up. Looks like she goes all the way to the ground. And I knew that she went all the way to the ground. I just hadn't been in here in so long that I don't remember. It is a big Cummins. I wouldn't know what Cummins it is, but I'm sure that anybody who cares will know just from looking at it. And I bet you put a battery on it, or put some jumper cables on it, and she'll go. But this is the last time we had it tagged to go on the road. And this one, we use it all the time still. We even tagged it 2 years ago. So it's nothing special. Anyways, we'll take a little walk here. I'll show you guys some cool stuff. There's a 4-door back here that hadn't let anything happen to it all over the years. Let's just say that. None of people that have came and looking for parts for that body style, we haven't let them take none off of it or anything like that. But it's just an old Ford truck. It's not anything real special. And there's a few old Ford trucks similar to it on the way to where it's at. And we'll just kind of walk through and see everything that we can while we're here. And maybe I can hit some of them cars that are inside of this area on the way back. And here's an old 77 short wheelbase. Both of these are 70s. One's a 76, one's a 77. I think that one right there is a 76. That one right there is a 77. And they got the motor to my old motor for my skid steer that I put the Kubota in is sitting on the back of that. Here's a 2-door 73 Thunderbird, I think, 72 or 3 Thunderbird. That was an abandoned car that I picked up probably, oh, I bet it's been 10 or 11 years ago when I used to pick up cars in Dodge. A lot of cars I used to pick up in Dodge. This Power Wagon, I've drove it. It's Eddie's. It was here always, but somebody actually came and stole the windshield out of it. But it runs. Put a battery on it and it'll run. This truck right here, I drove it every day all the way through high school. My dad gave it to me when I turned 16, and that was what I drove. It's a short wheelbase 302 truck. Here's an old 70s Ford. That might be a donor motor for the water truck if it runs real good. We had it running before. I'm just gonna go around the perimeter a little ways and then I'll make my way back. I wish these weeds wasn't so high. Got an old Dodge businessman's car. It's not really windy today, but the weeds out here are so high you can't see nothing. Several old trucks out here. Pile of square body parts from mine and Ricky's square body days. A square body Blazer, 77 square body Blazer, left behind from our square body days. This is it's actually a really rebuildable truck. There's not any rust in it, period, to speak of. And it's 4-speed. And we had another one of these Blazers we parted out, and we stuffed everything from that Blazer inside of it. So basically everything is there to make you a really nice old Blazer. Here's an old cab over Ford that somebody made into a trailer at some point. I don't know if they were gonna haul water with it or what, but it's an old cab over Ford. And here's our pile of mowers that we keep for parts. Let's see if I can get back out of this hole. These fire weeds are bad. What do we have here? I don't know the years on any of these old trucks. They were before me. Here's an old Ford dump truck. Here's an old Ford dump truck. A couple of old Chevrolet 4-door cars. I think that one up there might be a 2-door. Anyways, there's 2 G bodies sitting in there. I'm gonna try to get further out here. Somebody's broken the back window out of this truck in the last 6 months or a year. It hasn't been that way for very long, but here it is. And the doors were locked on this and the hood was down, and we opened the hood for the first time several years ago. And this truck does have rust, does have a dent, but I'm sure that the bed wouldn't matter to anybody that was gonna use the cab for a project or something. But I'm sure this old truck still runs too. But somebody left this truck sitting here in '89, and it's been sitting here ever since '89, right here in this spot. And it spent most of that time with all of its doors locked. See, some mice have gotten in here. The headliner's fallen down since the glass came out, but other than that, she's all, it's just the front piece of the headliner here. But anyways, she's pretty nice. I better get out of here before a snake gets me. It still has the maroon seats and everything. Get out of here, and then I'll show you guys a few more cars real quick, and then we'll call it a video. What do you guys think about that? Here's an old another old 77 Ford. A buddy of mine died, and he left that, and his wife didn't have any care for it, and his son doesn't have his mind right. So I will never do anything with this truck, but it is a nice 3/4 ton Ford or regular cab F-250 with no real dents or rust or anything. I hope that kid will get his mind right and get to a point in his life where he can realize the things that are important. But here's a 60s model Ford. Somebody drove that up here from Colorado, and something happened, the throwout bearing, and the guy left it behind. I actually met the guy who drove it here and left it behind. Here's another old Ford dump truck. Believe it or not, we use this one sometimes, and I'll guarantee you if you put a battery on it right now, she'll fire up. Maybe have to put some gas in it. Maybe. Here's an old 68, 69. It has no turn signals down there, you guys tell me. But it is a four-wheel drive C10. I think the motor's in this one, but no transmission. Yeah, the motor's in there, but no tranny. Some kind of old tractor conglomeration there. This place is kind of where vehicles come to die, at least where some of our vehicles come to die. I store a few scrap cars here, and you know, just because our house is 20-something miles into the country, and this here is right in town, so a lot of times we just bring the cars over here. I think there's I want to say there's 6 of these Pontiacs sitting right here. And there's more of them strode about. And those Pontiacs, too, they just seem to be dying left and right last year and this year. Starting to get a little out of breath. Maybe I need to lose some weight. My buddy here, he's a cattle buyer. And he buys these cows and sells them every week. That's what he does. I used to drive this truck, but I had bought it without a title, and it had some fuel issues and stuff, so it's been started getting parted out. This thing was one of my old business partner's hot rod, but he ended up, let's just say we're not business partners anymore, and he owed me money when he left, so he left behind this vehicle and 2 or 3 other vehicles, and over the years people have parted out. I mean, this was a complete truck, but that's supposed to be a stroker motor, but it's spent the last it has those heads with the 2 dashes on it, but it's spent so long out here that I bet it's not any good anymore. Here's an oldie but a goodie. And I think that this wagon right here might have been a fire truck at some point. Now, I can't swear that, and I don't know, but that's, and I faintly remember maybe when I was a kid that it had something written about fire on it. Anyways, here's this is an old straight 8 Pontiac, sitting here with the tree starting to grow up into it. This old Ford right here is Casey's dream car, and I'll probably buy it from Eddie. Who has the time to actually ever sit down and work on a project car? And it's another old Chevrolet Special Deluxe, but it has a 6-cylinder. I think both of these, this Plymouth I think is a 6-cylinder too. But this Ford, Casey wants it, so I might see what it takes to buy it from him and get it pretty soon. And if I do, then I'll make a video. Look, somebody's opened the hood on it, and they were clearly unqualified to open the hood on it. But anyways, there's an old tractor. Right here, there used to be a tractor on iron, and somehow somebody managed to steal that tractor on iron. No clue how. Sounds like our truck's still running. But anyways, I guess I'm gonna pop in here and show you guys about 3 or 4 more vehicles, and then I'll end this video. It's pushing on 20 minutes, so Casey's already came back to find me. As you guys can see, Eddie, he's a little bit older. See that telephone booth? He's a little bit older, and he keeps up with his cattle and runs his business, but this stuff back here went by the wayside many years ago, and now the problem is we got people in here stealing stuff all the time, and we just have problems with it. But I think everybody who gets to that age where they can't protect their junk no more ends up having problems with people pillaging their junk. I don't know what that Opco. I don't know what kind of car this is. I know that it wasn't sitting exactly like that forever. It's been moved. It's an old Studebaker. And here's two old 5 window. Are they 5 window? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Or 7 windows is what I count. But we dragged these out of the weed row a couple years ago and put brand new tires on them. And I got all of the brakes loose. He was going to send them to his son down in Phoenix, Arizona. And I don't know if the shipping never worked out or what never happened, but we ended up with them both pushed back in here, and that's where they are at. But anyways, I think that might be about all there is to see as far as old cars here when it's this bad out here. But well, maybe I'll make another video here in the spring. Maybe we'll get some of this stuff bush hogged down a little bit, and that will make it a little easier to make a video and make it a little bit easier for you guys to see what I'm actually filming. But I guess this telephone booth was and I was just walking over here to look at it because I told Donnie a couple days ago this thing's been sitting here about 10 years. Somebody brought it down from the stadium they tore down in Denver, Colorado, and just left it here, and it's been just sitting here. Boy, that would make somebody something cool. I don't know what. I mean, it's solid iron. It's heavy as hell, but it's still something really cool. Anyways, I guess I'll leave you guys here with that video, and I'll bring you back when I get back another update on the house, maybe 2 or 3 more days from now, or if I work on something. Anyways, thank you guys. Have a good one.